Summer Camp with Elwin Autumn, sponsored by the letter L.
Hi campers, welcome back to summer camp. Today we're going to be doing something really exciting. We're going to be making our own glass of lemonade. And to do that, we're going to follow a recipe. Now, a recipe is a list of ingredients and directions that tells you how to cook or bake something or make a glass of lemonade. Before we read the recipe, let's go over all of the items and the ingredients we're going to need to make our lemonade. The first thing you're going to need is a pitcher of water. You're also going to need your very own glass to put your lemonade in. You're going to need some sugar, a lemon that's cut in half, a spoon to stir everything. You're also going to need a tablespoon and a teaspoon. Now it might be hard to see in the camera, but a tablespoon is bigger than a teaspoon. You're also going to need some measuring cups. And just like the teaspoon, there's lots of different sizes when it comes to cups when you're cooking or baking. This is 1 cup. This is a half a cup. And as you can see, 1 cup is bigger than a half a cup. Then we have a 1/3 cup, and that's even smaller than a regular cup. And finally we have the 1/4 cup, which is a lot smaller than a cup. And we talked about fractions last week, and these cups are kind of like fractions. You take the whole cup and you break it down into smaller pieces. Now, let's take a look at our recipe. Now, a recipe has steps, and they come in a certain order or sequence. And when you're following a recipe, it's important to follow the directions in the correct order so that your lemonade or your cookie or your cake turns out right. So let's read our recipe together. Lemonade. There are 5 steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The first step is we need a 1/4 cup of water. The second step is we need 1 teaspoon of sugar or honey. I'm using sugar for my recipe, but you can use honey if you'd like. Honey is actually a healthier alternative. Number 3, stir until dissolved. Number 4, 2 teaspoons of lemon juice. Number 5, stir and drink. And finally, enjoy. So, I am going to put in my 1/4 cup of water. So I'm going to go through my cups, and here's my 1/4 cup. It's the smallest, and I'm going to be very careful. Now, just like we said with the watermelon last week, make sure you have a grown-up around when you do this. Sometimes things can get a little tricky, and having a grown-up in the room can make things a lot easier. So I'm going to pour my 1/4 cup of water, and I'm going to pour it in my cup, my glass. Okay, so that's the first thing we have to do in our recipe. The second one says 1 teaspoon of sugar or honey. And like I said, I brought down sugar. So let me find my teaspoon. Oh, here's my teaspoon. And then I'm going to just scoop it in. All right, so what does it say to do after we put the sugar in? Stir until dissolved. So I'm going to take my spoon and I'm going to stir until it's dissolved. And dissolved means it blends in with the water and you can't really see the sugar anymore. Okay, now what's the next one? 2 teaspoons of lemon juice. So here's what you have to do for that. You have to take your lemon and squeeze it into the spoon. So I'm going to take my lemon and I'm going to squeeze in the lemon juice into the spoon, and then I'm going to pour it into my glass. And then I'm going to do it again, because that was 1 and this is 2. going to stir it again. And now I'm going to drink it. Hopefully it'll taste good. Delicious. Now, this is just a really, really small serving. If you'd like to make a bigger serving, you'll have to add more water, more sugar, and more lemon. And if you want to make it nice and cold, you can add lots of ice.
And now a word from our sponsor, the letter L.
L. Leaping lizards and lucky leprechauns.
So let's review what we learned today. We learned how to make lemonade, and we followed a recipe to do it. And we said a recipe is a list of ingredients and directions that tells us how to do something. And those directions include steps. And it's really important to follow the steps in the correct order or sequence so that your lemonade, your cookie, or your cake turns out right. Our recipe had 5 steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I followed them in the correct order, and I have to say, my lemonade is pretty delicious. Cheers! That's it for now, everyone. Thanks. Bye. See you next time.